Gentlemen.
Well, do you know, this is probably the crime of the century. We have a state of emergency in the state of Florida and across the United States, and two guys enter a liquor store. And one holds the door open for the other because that's what we do in Polk County. And the fellow who had the door held open for him didn't say thank you, if you can imagine that. So the suspect said, "Hey, you're supposed to say thank you when somebody holds the door open for you." And he goes, "Okay, thank you." But apparently that wasn't enough, because our now suspect, who was originally a gentleman, started jawing back and forth. That's a Southern vernacular for talking back to each other. And finally, our suspect, who was originally our Southern gentleman, said, "If you say one more word, I'm going to come over there and beat you up," using other terminology. So what does our victim do? He says, "One more word." That's what he said. One more word. And the previous Southern gentleman who held the door open, who's now the suspect, promptly was good for his word, because he walked around the aisle and started beating him up. Well, the former Southern gentleman, now suspect's friend, came over and pulled him off, as the video clearly shows. We need the community's help. Look at our suspect, who is the former gentleman from the South, and tell us who he is, because we have a battery complaint that we need to file against him, and we don't want him to miss out on that. And here's our promise: we'll open the door for you at the county jail. And say thank you if you open the door first.
I guess I would just ask, what do you think about this, especially right now?
I
No
think-
social distancing, touching strangers.
What do I think about it? Come on, man. What are you thinking? Were your 3 brain cells in overload? Why don't you just let it go? Get you a bottle of liquor, go back to the house, have you a drink. But no, they've got to have a kerfuffle right there in the middle of the store. So at the end of the day, help us out, because after all, the Southern gentleman who's now a battery suspect who is, needs to go to the county jail. Or maybe we'll just give him a notice and let him show up at court and explain why he wanted to bounce this guy around for saying one more word.